All right, hopefully the video looks fine. I cracked my phone screen protector again a couple weeks ago. I might actually get it fixed today. But as a side note, welcome back to Coop's Car Talk. We've got back this morning. Could have been back last time I did one of these too. Cut is going well, but that's besides the point. I've realized that where I'm not really trying to be an influencer, it doesn't make a ton of sense to just talk about all the workouts I'm going to do. Might or might not get into that content in the future. Who knows? But something interesting that I did want to talk about is I had a wild dream last night. I've never seen 28 days later, never seen 28 weeks later, but I'm going to see 28 years later tonight. And I was told by a friend that basically said, okay, you don't need to know anything about the other movies except for maybe the fact that there's a virus that's transmitted by blood in the UK, and it's localized to the UK basically just that. So I don't really know anything about hardly anything going into this movie tonight, but I'm nervous. I'm excited, also nervous because the trailers look scary. So, anyways, I had a dream about it, and it was a wild dream, super crazy, and I have a feeling that everything I dreamt about in my dream isn't real when it comes to what actually happens in the movie. But I still think it's a cool premise. So more or less, in my dream, you've still got the virus and everything like that. But the dream shifted to the point where it wasn't really a virus, but more like a game or a challenge for the human race, I guess. So you had the zombies, you had the people that weren't infected. Everybody that wasn't infected was trying to get to a theater and like touch the screen of the theater or something. If you did that, the whole infection reset, and then it just started with one person that was infected again. So not as cool when I just say it simply like that, but it is what it is. The docket for today: work out, eat, work, some music, a video. A video aside from this, I mean. Oh man. When it comes to trying to create stuff, it is, I think, like a creator's own worst enemy is their mind. And when I say that, it's because in my head, right, I want to get out of the 9 to 5 eventually. I don't want to do this my whole life. I don't want to work for somebody my whole life. I want to build a business and work for myself. In my head, I always have to be like, grind, keep doing it, just keep going. But in reality, that mindset, if anything, inhibits your ability to create and just let the creative juices flow and just let things kind of make themselves on their own. So I think that's one thing I haven't really found the balance for. Trying to figure out how to make progress on what you create, but not beat yourself up about the lack of progress you might have made. And it is a really fine line that you have to walk, because you could always do more. But looking back, I've done a lot more than... No, I don't want to say that. Looking back, I've done quite a bit. Like, put on my own shows, drop my own projects, all that stuff. Speaking of which, I was listening back to previous projects before. And I'm like, oh, my music that I make now is way better than this. So it's interesting how in the past you'll make something that you think is super good, and it's the best you've made up until that point, and you really stand by the fact that that's quality. And then just a couple of years go by, and then you're like, oh, it's not as good as it could be. Well, it was as good as it could have been. It was as good as it could have been, but I can make way better now. So it is cool to see that progression and that upward trajectory over time. Same thing I've seen in the gym, and same thing I've seen in pretty much all aspects of life where you consistently put effort in. So we're pulling up. I guess the lesson is just keep doing what you like doing and putting in the time every day. Every day put in that time. Otherwise, you're not going to get better as quickly as you could. And I want to commit to it, but part of me thinks it won't happen every single day. I'm going to keep doing this because I want to see, in my mind, this is one other thought. I tend to talk a little bit too fast, and I like talk over myself. One other thought before I leave you guys, whoever may be watching this. Putting in the daily skills of whatever it is, I think you can think of it like investing. You're putting in equity into whatever skill you have. For me, I've put in a lot of equity to music. And I was listening to Boogus, which is, if you know the rapper Russ, Boogus is like the guy that essentially inspired him in the beginning and not paved the way, but almost enabled him to be able to make music. Boogus was talking about how he dropped a song every week for like 80-something weeks. Russ did it for 60-something weeks. I think that's just another way of putting in equity. Because if you have all these songs out, I used to be worried about bloating my discography. I wanted everything I put out to be quality. But if you have over 100 songs out, like right now I've got 40-something, somewhere in the range of 40 to 50 songs out. But if you think about it, the more songs you have out, the more streams you will get once you get a following of listeners. So the more songs I can put out, and not just junk, like you want to put out songs that you've spent time on and you think are good, the more songs you can put out, then by the time you do get a following, the more streams you'll get. Because if you have more music, you're going to get more streams if you've got people that are following you. So in my head, that's just another way to build equity. I'm going to keep putting songs out, so by the time I do start to get a little bit of buzz, whatever that buzz might be, I've got more songs that can get monetized, and then the byproduct of that would just be making more money from the music. And one other thing, I was watching a Russ clip this morning. Russ said you don't have to be making $1 million a year for music to be a viable business. It's like if you're making 70 grand from your music a year, like he essentially said you made it. So, and that's something I've always told people. I don't care to necessarily, what's the word? Like just have music be the full-time thing. But I think a long-term goal that I have is to make as much money from the music as I'm making from whatever job I'm working. So, yeah, I think it's viable. But anyways, I'm going to go get it in the gym. Thanks for patience if you've kind of watched all these and been patient with me as I'm trying to figure my freaking ADHD life out. So, yeah. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a great day. Go get after it, and I will see you on the next one.